Now, Israeli forces dropped leaflets ordering Palestinians in Gaza City to move south, saying the area remains a dangerous combat zone. Israeli snipers were targeting people who tried to leave. In central Gaza, a strike on a home near Nusayrat refugee camp killed 4 Palestinians. The injured were taken to the already overwhelmed Al-Aqsa hospital in Deir el-Balah. At least 14 Palestinians have been killed across the strip so far on Wednesday. All right, let's just, we're going to go over to our correspondent, Hamda Salhout, who joins us from Amman in Jordan, because Israel has banned Al Jazeera from reporting inside Israel. So, Hamda, let me just clarify what's happened, and then I'll ask you the question. So, we had these leaflets, as you know, dropped that started with, to residents of Gaza City, here are the safe corridors, and ended with Gaza City is a danger zone. Now media reports, Israeli media reports, saying, well, not all of Gaza City was ordered to evacuate according to what they've understood from the Israeli military. What is the Israeli military saying then?
Well, the Israeli military around 9 a.m. released a statement saying that they're continuing operations in northern Gaza, specifically in Gaza City, saying that they, quote, created what they called safe corridors for Palestinians to evacuate from there, as they had what they also called, quote, targeted operations in northern Gaza. But the leaflets that were dropped to residents in the north clearly say to the residents of Gaza City in its entirety on the map, and it maps them out, telling them where to go, where these so-called safe passages and corridors are, heading south to Deir el-Balah. This is the second time a notice like this has been dropped on Gaza City. Previously, it was in October. But now we're hearing from Israeli military sources who are saying that this, in fact, was not an evacuation order for all of Gaza City, but rather specific areas where the Israeli army is still operating and where they do want to conduct what they're calling targeted and precise operations. Now let's talk about what the Interior Ministry in Gaza is saying. They're saying that if anyone is in any sort of immediate danger, to go to an area where perhaps is less dangerous, but they're stressing that there's still no safe place for Palestinians in Gaza. Time and time again, these Palestinians have been displaced with simply nowhere to go. The Israeli army continuously dropping these leaflets with several evacuation orders planned for them to go to designated safe areas that we have seen also repeatedly bombarded in the last 9 months. So while all of the headlines have been saying that the Israeli army has issued an evacuation order for all of Gaza City, now these sources are coming out and saying it's actually just these small particular areas that the Israeli military is still going to operate in. But the leaflet, again, was quite clear, saying to all of the residents of Gaza City, in addition to that, at the end of it, it says that Gaza City is a dangerous combat zone and no one should be there anyway. So mixed messaging here from the Israeli army, and sources that are coming out against that messaging entirely.
All right, Hamda, thank you for clarifying that. But let's take that, and we just should mention that Hamda is in fact in Amman, Jordan, reporting on what the Israeli military is saying, because Israel has banned Al Jazeera from reporting inside Israel. All right, but we're going to keep this going, and we can go now live to Hind al-Khudri, who's in Deir el-Balah in central Gaza, and I understand it's a blackout there, right? Just to add to the confusion. And talking of confusion, given all these, as Hamda said, mixed signals, do Palestinians have a clear idea on what the Israeli military is telling them to do, where they can go, if they can see where they're going in the blackout there?
Sami, let me first express how confusing this message was. Those leaflets are different from all of the other leaflets that the Israeli forces threw on the Palestinians. First of all, they say, "Dear Gaza residents," and they tell them afterwards that there are 2 routes for them to leave and to evacuate to the southern parts of Gaza. And also, normally, the Israeli forces use the block numbers, use the areas, put some arrows, and leads the way for Palestinians to evacuate. Some people perceived those messages as evacuation orders, and some made it to the south, but we only saw a couple of families. Most of the families were in a state of panic. They felt that the Israeli forces are trying to empty all of the Gaza Strip and the Gaza City, and the Gaza City is a danger zone. And other Palestinians chose to stay because, let me remind you, that those Palestinians decided to stay since day one, since the first week of war, and they went through severe starvation, severe artillery shelling, ground invasion, and also Israeli airstrikes. So those Palestinians chose to stay in the Gaza City, and they are not willing to leave because they're seeing how the people in the northern parts of the Gaza Strip are suffering to go back to the northern parts of the Gaza City, Sami.
And you can also clarify for us the reports that some of those who did try to leave Gaza City after receiving this pamphlet that ends with Gaza City is a danger zone, some of them got subjected to sniper fire, right?
Sami, you can't imagine the testimonies that have been circulating online earlier today. We have been reading a lot of posts by Palestinians who are trapped in the Gaza City now, where some people mentioned that their family members were killed in front of their eyes, executed while trying to evacuate to a safe area or a safe place. They also said that the Israeli forces suddenly invaded their houses, started executing them. The snipers were everywhere, quadcopters were everywhere. So Palestinians were left helpless, not knowing where to go. Some stayed to chose trapped in their houses, waiting to get killed. And let me also remind you that there's no civil defense teams, there's no Red Cross, no one is there to evacuate those Palestinians, and that's why Palestinians were resisting all the weapons that Israel has been using against them. So now Palestinians are trapped. If they try to evacuate and listen to Israel's order, they're being killed, they're being shot. So Palestinians are left helpless, not knowing where to do, and not knowing what to do, and stuck in the middle of death and airstrikes and live ammunition from all over all the areas.
All right, very difficult situation. Hind al-Khudri there from Deir el-Balah.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.